I am Kyron Rossmore, welcome to my stream. Hopefully this will actually... Okay, I'm a mature audience, apparently. I need to double check up on that. And it is absolutely silent in here. Great stuff. Okay, my subtitles are working. I am Fish. Please don't just send lots of Steam friend requests. I totally forgot that was going to be there. Also, if you do send me a Steam friend request, don't buy anything off my wish list. My wish list is there just for me to keep track of games. Some I'm not very interested in. So if you buy me something off a Steam wish list, don't be offended if I turn around and go, yeah, I'm not actually going to play that. One of the main things is I just generally enjoyed looking at the way different computer games do things without actually buying them, but the wish list just reminds me that they exist. So yes, this is Banners of Ruin. It's a bit tactical. It's a card-based roguelike game. You make choices. What's interesting about this one is it doesn't actually seem to have much in the way of unlocks. I mainly just bought it for the artwork. We'll get more into that in a bit. One of the things is it's early access, so it was cheap. There is a continue, it's highlighted. I don't think I've got anything to continue right now, so just going to go into a new game. There is a tutorial, it's pretty good. It steers you in the right direction. You get to choose between a mouse and a bear, a beaver and a hare, and a wolf and a weasel. That almost rhymes. Wonder if that was intentional. I'm not entirely sure what this does other than change your starting characters, but because it's roguelike, it takes a little bit of time to pick up on what you're supposed to be doing. And I've just realised my subtitles, whenever I say roguelike, it says rogue Mike. So that should be rogue-like. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so because it's roguelike, it very much depends on these things to where you're starting from. But after that, probably doesn't really make too much difference. There is a bit of a learning curve, which mainly implies the difficulty of roguelikes. So I tried to stick with this one, the mouse and the bear for now, and I also like the artwork, so let's stick with that. So yeah, every time you, once you've gone past the tutorial, you have these 3 alleys to go down. For the most part, this is just like the setup. You can take florians, which is a form of currency in this game, and you can get provisions, which usually is in the form of a card. A hooded figure stops in your path. May the wind be at your back. And he offers me a selection of cards. Reckless Aid, apply 15 to an ally, both gain fatigue, that's not good. Each character in your rank gains 8 shields. We'll get onto that when we're actually into the main part of the game. And the rows rise up to meet you. So every time that you select one, the counters in the corner tick down and the cards disappear if they ever hit 0. That means that it's blocked. That means that it's blocked. It also tells you down here that it's blocked. So the only option is the Forgotten Tunnel, which goes into combat. Forgotten Tunnel. You emerge from the black and find yourself in one of the guard bunks. Where in the devils did you come from? You can't be here. And so now we've entered combat. You can change where your people are arranged. That's done on a different screen that I didn't care to show you yet. I generally leave them where they are. You hover over the enemies and it tells you who's going to get stabbed. And it also tells you what they're going to do. So it's going to deal 8 and applies safety in numbers on the start of your turn. If your character has 3 or more allies, then raise armor level by 10. They currently have 6 armor, we have a 14 and a 6. Now this guy is going to get stabbed for 8, which is going to take out all of his armor, but this guy is going to get stabbed for 16 and take out all of his armor. And I've only got 1 shield, so I'm going to apply the shield to the mouse because this guy is... Oh, wait. Actually, if I go back to this guy and apply that to one of these guys, it's going to take away the armor and give this guy the charge ability. So each of the cards are pretty simple. If you've ever played a card-like game, tells you everything you need to know on there. This one does 5 damage. This one does 12 damage to all targets in rank. 2 concepts are ranks and rows. I think they're called rows, but they're certainly called ranks. And so if you say all in rank, then it'll be all 3 of these. If it says all in row, then it'll be the top 2 here, if it happens to be 2. So that's taken out his armor. I should have armored up this guy at the top actually, now that I think about it, because that's going to take out the little rat at the bottom. So he's going to be okay, but he's still going to take 2 points of damage. Can't really do much about taking out another one of these guys, but might as well do the extra 5 damage. And because he's already got 2 charge, I'm going to use this. Because I don't have a card to discard, I just gain the 3. Making him a charge 5. Now what the charge does is next time he deals damage, he'll add that onto each strike that he does. Now, for the most part, that would basically mean the 5 strike card will do 10 points of damage. But I've got it here, deal 1 times 3, which is deal 1 damage 3 times. And because he has the 5 there, he's actually going to do 6 points of damage 3 times, which is 18. So that guy dies. Vanguard deals 6 if active on the front rank. He is on the front rank, deal an additional 4. That takes out that guy, and congratulations, I win. Most of the time on victories, you'll end up with Florians, and you'll end up picking a card. You can choose to not take the card if you don't want, and sometimes when you're building up the deck, if you're going for a specific strategy, then you'll just want to keep your deck clear of cards that go against that strategy, for example. If they're not... if there's nothing available, you can click back, but for the most part, this is the start of the game. I'm just going to take another rush card because they never seem to come up when I need them, when I've got that guy stacked for his... what's it? The charge ability. Now that that's over, I get to enter the city. A small hatchway leads into a damp, dark chamber behind the city wall. For House Blackfoot. Not quite sure the lore and what is Blackfoot, but I think it's us. Not sure. You open the hatch and enter the city. So now that we're here, I'm just going to take a quick moment and try to rustle something up. BRB on the gaming. Hey, Anne. You are here. You are indeed. Welcome. As the first person to ever visit me live. Woo! I'm just playing a bit of Banner of Ruin. Not sure if you've ever heard of this before. It's a bit of a roguelike, bit of a card game, but you get to make up your party of fuzzy little bears and mice and other creatures. How's the audio? That's my main concern. Can you hear the game? There's a bit of a background beat, and can you hear me? Woo! Give you a hot sec. Okay. Take as many as you want. I'm just mucking around for the moment. I'm going to try to keep speaking, and I'll try and actually pay attention to the chat. That's a bit further away than I would like because it's out of my peripheral. If I sit back, I'll be able to see it. So yes, each race has a weapon, armor, and card abilities that they'll gain as they'll level up, as well as not card abilities. I forget what they're called right now. But as they're level 1, then they don't have anything. Oh yeah, I was going to point out you can change them around by just moving their symbols around. I'll just leave them in that position because I don't really know what else to do with them. So yeah, each of these alleys, the number at the top, basically you get to have 16 cards in each pile until you get to the next checkpoint. I'm guessing you need to get through all 3 checkpoints to win the game. I don't actually know because I've only ever made it up to, but not past the second checkpoint. And basically you've got to pick one of these cards to continue. Seeing as overall combat, we'll go for this combat on the left. I was legit asking me out loud. Yeah. We all do that sometimes when we're watching somebody, especially if we've actually spoken to them in real life. I do that occasionally. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you not paying attention to what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, wait. I need to actually type these things now. But yeah, I'm glad that the sound is okay. It's one of the main things that I'm paranoid because I see it a lot on other people's streams where they've just not got their vocal and the game audio. Okay, yep, you get off to your prep. And I shall see you later in the chat, hopefully. So yeah, that's Harsinger Games. It's a Twitch streamer that I follow. And she does a number of different things, from painting figures for tabletop role-playing games to playing a role-playing game on Thursday nights, and general video gaming on, let's see if I remember this, a Friday, a Saturday, and I think that's mainly it. Her schedule is the Friday and the Saturday, but at the same token, if the game doesn't go ahead or she's not painting models, then she'll usually drop in and play a game. She occasionally plays with the community as well on games like Jackbox Games and Fall Guys. And on the Friday, she has this thing called Frontline Friends, where she chooses a game and invites people from their Discord to join them. It's all good fun. Pretty good community. They have a Discord, and the community is actually more known as Geeks for Good, which is run by another Twitch streamer, but they're all kind of just one big happy family supporting each other. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to join that community rather than trying to set up all these little things on my own, because I don't see the real need for me to have a Discord. But all on its own. But if I had a Discord channel in somebody else's Discord, especially one like Geeks for Good, it would be a bit of a bonus, because then more people are going to find out about it, and also I don't have to go through all the heavy maintenance of maintaining a Discord server when I don't really feel the drive to do so. that of course might change in time. Anyway, back to the game. Type formation. So we got an 8, an 8, an 8. We again, the bear is a 6/14. So we're just going to play this out. Do we want to? Yeah, we're going to get the bear to do it. The active character spends. I've forgotten what they're called. It's like stamina and resolve. So if you run out of those, you're in a bit of a tight spot. But at the same token, if a card has their symbol on top of it, it means only they can use that card. And I don't want to use the type formation with the mouse guard because it only got 2 stamina, and this one is really useful for starting to get that momentum going. He still has 1. Can I take that guy out? I could take that guy out, and they're all going to focus on me, and that's not a good thing. So let's take him out. And now I'm pretty much out of... Oh, no, I'm not quite. I'm just going to strike that guy up top and end my turn. The reason why I went for the strike was the other card would have gotten me another card, but it could have been expensive. It could have been something would be better in unison with something else, and everybody else is just exhausted. Okay, so we're going to go 6 bleed. Okay, the bleed 1 is not too big of an issue, especially since they're targeting other people, but the bleed will bypass the armor. So 6 points of damage to each. They've both got the armor for it, but the main thing is, can I get rid of at least one of these so both of them aren't bleeding? Let's concentrate on this guy at the top. And he's out of it, and now I'm just going to armor up because it's a bit of a freebie and get some momentum. Sounds good. Okay. Okay, so round shield. I'm just going to use, because that gives me that, which I can then apply to the bear. This guy is going to do 10 damage. I've got plenty for that. And going to do weapon damage and apply 4 bleed. Bleed counts down every turn and does that by passing armor. Whereas the poison counts upwards and doesn't bypass armor. Poison is infinitely more powerful because, you know, if you get a poison 1 on somebody, a few turns later it's a poison 3, and it's continually going to build up and bump up damage. Whereas the bleed, you've got to keep maintaining, you know, you've got to keep on applying different effects of bleed so that it keeps spiraling up. There's no point in withdrawing, although you can actually withdraw, and it says move or swap them to a target position, which you can actually do. Because he's targeting that square, he no longer can do, so he doesn't actually do anything. And evade. So we're just going to hack at him, and that takes him out of the way. It's still early days yet, so it's not going to make that much of a difference. Apply vulnerable. This character receives 25 more damage from attacks, takes down 1 per turn. It's not bad. Deals 6 damage for each rune card. You can specific points in the game you can ruin a card, and when you do so, it alters the effects. It usually has a bit of a negative on there, but once it's got that negative on there, it can still be used, but it's slightly more powerful, but slightly detrimental to you. Playing a ruin game is a little bit more difficult, but cards like that, where it's like deal 6 for each ruined card in your hand, can really start stacking up the damage. I'm not a big fan of this vulnerability because it's too expensive on the stamina, and it's only 6 points of damage. I'm going to take this No Mercy. It's a freebie card, and it deals 6 points of damage to the most vulnerable. So hopefully that will come into play effectively at some point. So as we saw, all the counters tick down to 0, and they fall off the screen. Now I've got more of a choice than just combat. Helping Hand's going to get me provisions, courage, a chance to improve, or an investigate. A pair of guardsmen are rounding on a black bear. I don't really need any provisions. This chance to improve, I know what it does, and I don't want to take that right now, so I'm just going to take this overzealous guard and see what happens. You hear two town guardsmen hurling verbal abuse at a local black bear. She's probably a spy, they jeer. You can see her becoming visibly distressed when they begin to wave their weapons at her threateningly. Show them who they should be really worried about. Fight or a little go might get them moving on. I don't really want to lose money because that's really useful, so I'm going to fight them. There's only 2 of them, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, only the 2 of them, although he's got a lot of armor. He's attacking up there, he's attacking down there so... first of all, again, going to tight formation, get some extra defenses up there. I'm going to use that against him to break it. This guy has another point of stamina and he's going to be okay now, but let's do that. And don't want to waste that when it's only the one. Attack Vanguard. Again, like I said earlier, it's not great because you still have to have the stamina to spend it, even though next time this guy loses stamina, it's refunded and that is removed. You still need it to have it to spend, but should be good for this next round when it's refunded and he can get out a powerful card without actually having to spend any stamina for it. So let's see. The character gains pacified, means that you can't play any other cards on the round, so that's good as a last minute thing. But in the meantime, well, let's see. They're both attacking the bear, so if I was to move him out of the way, that would do him a lot of favors. But I really do want to try and get rid of at least one of these guys. Although, could I... That's only 8 points of damage. I don't have to move him. If I give him a solid footing... if I guard and give him the solid footing, he doesn't really need to move. He can't greatsword them. This one's gonna... that's odd, it didn't do that. And I think I will actually move him. So he's now got even more armor and they're both going to attack nothing. Occasionally they'll move around as part of their abilities. So 10 damage on that guy, 12 damage on that guy. Let's buff him up a little bit. Let's get this guy bleeding. And let's finish off this guy so that it's no longer 2-on-1. See, I didn't want that second rush to come out just yet because there's still that momentum which will get me a lot of charge ability. One of the things about the hares is they have this safety in numbers. But when there's only 1 or 2 of them, it's not that big of a deal. So, okay, what's this guy going to do? Gains 10, moves adjacent to closest ally in rank, if no allies in rank, moves or swaps to the other rank in their lane. That's it, lanes, not rows, lanes. That's the terminology I use. And suffers 20 damage from their cowardice. Not sure what that's going to do. Okay, let's have a look. Let's use that, which gives me that, but I'll apply to him, and then... Do I have enough to do? I don't, so I'm just going to do this, and then back to this guy, break him, and gain the momentum. Each hands of cards you play out, I think you get 5 cards from your deck over here. They end up in the discard, and it's standard deck rules. Once this runs out, it shuffles the discard back into the deck and draws a new hand. This here is for banished piles that some cards are slightly more powerful, or like that talent one, come up for quite frequently, so they don't want to get mixed into the deck. They just go out to the banished pile and you'll pick them up again, even when something triggers, like with the shield, or the next set of combat once it's had a chance to recharge. Okay, so this guy's going to do 12 on the damage rather than this guy because it's based on the weapon. So I'm going to apply that, which he's actually got his bleed up to a 6 now. That's a freebie and he's the only one around, so that's another 6 points of damage. Vanguard, that'll be 10. Rush might as well, because that'll do the 3 attacks with a 4 charge. He's got 5 hit points left and 6 bleed, so I'll let him bleed out. Okay, Oak, Mount, and Deslin have leveled up. Sharpen the Steel is really nice, especially since I can really stack that bleed. It's expensive though, but at the same token, they have just leveled up. Each time your people level up, it comes to this screen. You cannot get it off the screen without leveling them up. You get to upgrade your stamina or your will. Your will goes down every time that you cast a card using the blue number. And the stamina goes down every time you cast the yellow number, but at the same token, your stamina comes back every round, your will comes back every combat. I'm not going to make a choice up there just yet until I've seen the cards that it's going to give me. Natural selection. If target opponent has more health than active character, draw a card. If less health, discard a card. Okay, Mesmer, whenever you draw an additional card, apply 1 poison to a random opponent banished. That is really nice, because with what I was saying earlier about the poison, because it builds up over time, it really does, help stack in there. And Sadis can draw a card for each status effect on target opponent. I'm going to go with the Miasma. Mainly because I just like the poison stuff and it's based on drawing cards. This has a will cost, so I'm just going to improve his will for now. And that's all the choices you get to make for your first level up. Again, let's have a look at these cards. Bull's charge deal weapon damage. If target has moved this turn, apply bleed 6 and vulnerable 3. Not bad, but I don't find the enemy move around enough to justify that. Lose all stamina and gain twice the amount in charge could be useful. Apply stack. I'll put my teeth back in. Apply target stacks of poison to each adjacent character, and that is on rank and lane. And that can be really useful because of the other one. You don't know which one it's going to affect, but if it affects one of them, you can start spreading around. If nothing else, you can just start bumping it up. And seeing as though that is also a will, I'm going to put will in again. You hear a yelp after a short and bloody scuffle concludes. I wasn't here. I don't know you. I didn't see you. She runs off. So it was combat for the sake of experience, but no actual reward out of it other than the card and gold we got from the guards. This symbol here, on expiring, something happens. So if you don't deal with this, then you're going to have to deal with the Drunken Guards. I'm not quite sure what the Drunken Guards do. Back LE, select a lane, remove an X2 cards, so that could effectively get rid of that and something else. Intelligence gives everybody 100 XP. I'm kind of curious to see what this Drunken Guards is going to spawn, so I'm just going to go for the intelligence and get some EXPs, hopefully level up sooner rather than later. The drunken guards, a fine opportunity to fleece these idiots of every penny on them. They'll face worse when they're disciplined. Or we've got 2 combats. So yeah, if I'd have gone for that card, it would have just taken it off the stack and not spawned in these drunken guards. I think I'll take the money and avoid both of these 2 combats. A decoy, select a card, move it to this lane, and add +1 onto its counter. So basically I could take that combat or this mentor and put it over there. Modify your deck. Not quite sure what that's going to be. And combat. I'm going to mentor. Let's see what this gives me. Now seems like a good time to take a short rest. Perhaps an opportunity to learn something new. You can always learn from each other. Duplicate a card in your deck. There should be a space there. I should possibly bug that. Or leave. I'm going to see what cards I might want to duplicate. Momentum's good. I do like the sharpened steel though, to really just stack in those bleeds. So I'm probably going to take that. Seems though I've already managed to get another one, and so now, rather than dealing with anything else, I now have another sharpened steel in there. There are some cards, basically cards surrounding weapons or talents that you can't duplicate, which is why this list is slightly different than I noticed. Off-duty guards will spawn in more drunken guards. Lightfoots, I can buy cards, or brawlers, I can buy cards. I'm quite curious to see. I'm tempted to leave the off-duty guards again and see if I can get another 300. So let's take a look at the brawlers. Gain anticipation. The next time this character loses vitality from an attack, they gain 20 for every stack of ticks down by 1, and it only gains you 1, so that's not great unless there's another way of bumping that up. Type formation I do like, because it's just 2 and gives both of them 8, rather than the shield, which is 1 and gives one of them 5. Yeah, it only costs 1 stamina, but you know, that's the price you pay for 6 extra shielding, and everything else is the same. So I'm going to take that one because I don't like leaving empty-handed. I know I'm an impulse buyer, but I have to get over it. So drunken guards, they're going to give me another 300 florians. Heal the party 50%. Then they're barely scratched, so I'm gonna take 300 florians. Heavy patrol, and I don't know what the difference between that symbol and the traditional crossword symbol is, but they're also going to stick around a while. So let's take out these drunken guards, get some more monies. Cultist wares, buy cards, provisions. This combat. I'm going to avoid the cultists. Cultists don't seem like a very good idea to me right now. So I'll take this helping hand. He should probably just offer me a card like he did right back at the start. A hooded flamingo stops in your path. May the wind always be at your back. Deal 3 damage times each stack of bleeding the character has, and I've been stacking my bleeding. And the road rise up to meet you. It's a bit of a mouthful. Crossroads. Okay, yeah, every now and again you'll get these crossroads, and it'll just basically, if I dealt with that, that'll turn to 9 and it'd be crossroads, but it also allows me just to click on that and it clears it all down to these 8s. So it pays to focus in one column, potentially if there's, those heavy guards were around for the start. You just keep going down the path that they're not on, and hopefully it'll start you'll burn through, get to the crossroads, and you click on that and clear it all out. Still going to avoid this because the skull with the crossroads seems like a bad idea to me. I might click on it one of these days, but not today. Okay, the CC is working okay. I mean, it's still really bad at figuring out what I'm saying. I think I'm also a little bit talking very quickly today, so not sure if that's a great thing. Okay, gonna use this straight off the bat. No, I'm not. I'm going to use... Oh, that's an interesting issue that I didn't pay attention to. I need 3 stamina for that, and I have a maximum of 2. Well, shot spot. We've got a couple of scoundrels here. Who's he attacking? Who's he attacking? He's got 8. He's only got 6. You take the armor. You stab somebody. And then stab them some more. And that's as much as I can effectively do. That was a bad choice. I really should pay more attention to what I'm doing. I think these are supposed to be rats, not mice. Okay, they're going to bleed, and that's going to hurt. Can I move him out of the way? I cannot move him out of the way, and that is going to hurt. So what I need to do is get rid of at least one of these people. That's going to deal 9 points of damage. That's going to draw a card. Let's draw a card to see what comes out. Oh, good. I was hoping for something like that. So I can move him out of the way. They'll both miss, and I no longer need to panic about this. Nobody's bleeding yet, so let's just armor up and then get this guy to stab this guy a few times. So yes, evaded and evaded. Poor bad guys. Okay, so I've got 2 sharpened steels. First one goes to this guy. Second one goes to this guy. He's now poisoned, bleeding 4, and dies. Hence why I like those bleedings. Let's take the Morphorians and deal 3 damage if target dies, draw 3 cards. Ooh, that could be useful with the miasma, where it's poisoning. So I'm going to take that, and it's freebie, so it won't matter too much about the stamina. Still need to get that miasma up and working. Buy cards, or heavy patrol. I'm going to take a look at the brawlers again. Let's see what they've got to offer. That's really useful if you've got a character that is just tanking it up. There's a couple of cards that I've seen where it just continually just keeps piling up the shields on a character, and once you throw that down, it can just do massive amounts of damage to the enemy. That's kind of useful, but again, it's 3 stamina and probably I know the last shop that I went into, I said I don't like leaving without buying anything, but sometimes you just got a chance to improve on an altar. You navigate some narrow shortcuts when you hear a crash behind you. One of your party has stumbled through a rotten wooden wall. You peer in and see a humble cedar wood shrine. Smells like home. There's no signs of inhabitants, and the candles are freshly lit. Who erected it? Pray, choose a character to permanently raise their HP by 15. Ooh. Gonna go for the bear, just because I'm more of the bear person than a mouse person. There was no tactical reason for doing that. Take out this combat, avoid the heavy patrol. We've got some weasels, and I don't know what that thing is. Okay, let's start off with this, which is going to do damage to everybody. Right down the line. And oh, that symbol means he's going to do 5 to each of them, and this guy's going to do 5 to each of them. This guy's going to attack him, so that's 20 to this guy and 10 to this guy. So let's just formation up and stab that guy for 3 points. Why not? Nothing more I can do this round, so let's move on. One of the things is, I'm talking through this a lot because there's kind of things that I try to pay attention to when I'm gaming. or playing this game anyway, is all like what everything's going to do. You know, it's all like it's obvious that this guy's going to do 12 damage to this guy, but this guy and this guy has 24 points of damage. He is in a terrible place to be. And there's not much else I can do about it right now. So he's going to start suffering damage. He's going to do 6 against that guy. Again, not much I can do about it, although I can actually just take him out. How do I want to take him out? Well, if I take him out with that, then I just need to do 2 more points of damage. Is that going to? Yes, there we go. And I can also take this guy out. Meaning I've only got to deal with that 12. It's still not great because he's still run out of armor. But at the same token, it was a lot better than that 24 that he was going to get. So okay, let's do all the damage to him first of all. Let's see what that does. Come on, stab him. Well, it didn't kill him, so that's not a good thing. Let's guard up because he's gonna stab that guy. Let's bunker down, and everybody got some more armor. Woo! But yeah, that bleeding was slightly different, and it wasn't applied unless he got all the way through the armor. I've got a couple of rushes and an 8 points of damage. That's enough to finish him off. Oh god, I've been at this, what, 40 minutes now. I'm aiming for about a 2-hour stream in this, and I'm probably going to stop talking a little bit about the tactics that I'm using in this one. Gain 6 armor and 1 charge. If character has neighbor of the same race, then all gain. That would be really nice if I was later on, because you do get a chance to pad out your team with additional characters. But you don't really get to choose what characters they are as a traditional roguelike. Deal 6 damage to rank. That's a nice 1 for 6. Also wanted to get off that screen because it seems to ramp up the background music, making it incredibly difficult for me to hear myself. So yeah, I'm talking a lot at the moment about my tactics. I'm probably going to continue doing that. At some point, I hope to discuss other video games. One of the things that I like is I've just realized where my subtitles are. Shazbot, where would I put the subtitles on this game? I think I'm just going to have to move them up and over to the side. Would have been nice if somebody had told me that they were in the way. Oh yeah. Oop, that started shrinking it. There we go. That's just moved it over to the side. So you can actually see now these things at the top that I was talking about. With the number of cards in deck, the creatures, and how many Florians you have. Although I'm not entirely sure if that's actually very good for what I'm trying to look at there. Let me just... yep, that's a bit annoying. It's cutting off the top of the screen a little. But oh well, I'll figure out what the problem is. It's probably some setting in OBS, or the fact that it doesn't perfectly match up with what Twitch is expecting. Who knows? You can almost see the numbers. And this is a test stream just to get these things out of the way anyway. A chance to heal party by 50%, or party takes damage. Why would I take anxiety? Probably gonna go for the quick round, so it heals both of them rather than just one of them. So I'm going to take this for the chance to heal. A Blackfoot weasel brandishes his arsenal of foul-looking concoctions under his cloak. These beauties are some of Endergril cloaks, but it looks like you could use some of this for the pain, that is. He hands you a familiar-looking bottle, carefully armored with a fine crafted leather. This is my last bottle. And I get to choose who it's going to heal. They both just recently healed. Choose the bear, because always. It tastes foul enough that you wonder if he really did just poison you. When offering thanks, you look up to find him already vanished. And we're at the crossroads again. Or I could buy some wares off cultists. Don't want to deal with the cultists right now. Okay, so yeah, just before you get to the end, it comes up with these three choices. The heal up, which is great if your party is damaged. The tavern, which also tells you how expensive the cheapest person is. So you can avoid it if you haven't got the Florians for it. And the smithy, that is provisions, which as we've seen, it's a choice of cards. I'm going to go for the tavern because more people is better. There's only one guy at 450, but there is a guy at 600, 450, 600. That's 1,500. That's 1,050, and I don't have 1,050, so I'm just going to buy the one expensive guy. Or I'm actually going to take a quick squint at him. Toxic Cascade. Pick any card from your drop pile and place it at the top of the pile and banish. Not a big fan of that one. Not too bad. He's going to be one that shields himself up, so that's not too bad. And strategist, whenever this character forcefully moves an enemy, apply overwhelm to that target for every stack of overwhelm. This target receives 25 more damage from attacks. Remove at the start of the turn. I don't know why. Oh, it's completely removed as opposed to vulnerability or the other one where it's counts down. See, I'm not actually impressed with him too much and spending all that money on him. See, that take cover is really useful. He's plagued, so whenever anybody hits him, they're going to take poison damage. The Sadist Cunning kind of stacks well with that, and the poison stacks well with the other stuff that I've got going on. And applies target stacks to deals damage equal to the stacks at the start of the target's turn. Increase poison by 1. Oh, yes, that's the same thing that the other one had, which is now defunct. And gain pacified but charge 3 on 13 damage. That's actually not bad. And I still don't know what race this guy is, because it says Samuel Redmont the Hammer. I'm thinking that's a name. I'm actually going to go with this guy in the middle. He's got Plagued, which will stack. He's got Armoring Up, and he's got this, which drawing a card, if I can get that other one to fire, will certainly help, especially since he'll help build up all the parts of the stack. So I had a guy. There he is. Woohoo! I now have 3 people. It's time to enter a hideout. And lo and behold, let's see what happens when we get to the hideout. Oh no! It's a trap! It's a trap. I can never do that voice from the Star Wars, the fish guy. Forgot his name. General Akbar, that's it. By the way, we do talk about all things nerdy here, not just whatever I'm currently wittering on about. But yes, it's a trap, as you could probably guess. But luckily, I've got 3 people. Now, this, because it's the end of the street, it tends to be a little more dangerous than other things that are going on. Okay, the hatchet is not going to break anybody's armor just yet, so let's do the greatsword and take everybody's thing down a little, and then we'll break out this hatchet and we'll break it open on this guy's skull. And now we're going to figure out where all the damage is going. We got 10 to this guy and bleed, which is not pretty. We got 10 to this guy, but he's not going to bleed because it's not ready. Oh no, it's just bleed 1. So that's not going to make too much difference. And this guy, wow, okay. That's a lot of text, and I'm not entirely sure what it means because it says deals 12 damage and gains Shrug It Off. Shrug It Off. Every time this character receives more than 15 damage from an attack, they gain 3 momentum and 5 armor. And 5 bolster. Bolster at the end of each turn. Okay, if that Shrug It Off no, that Shrug It Off is just going to happen unless I can get him to miss, which I can't. That's 12, that's 22, that's 10. He's got more health, so just going to armor this guy up a little. And let's... deals damage to target creature. There we go, have some damage. And he is going to get attacked, so let's give him some extra armor. But yeah, the streams, I'm hoping to basically lead into Pathfinder Games, who was here earlier, just helping me double check what was going on. And so I'll be playing a game for 2 hours, and then we'll go ahead and raid their game, their stream, which this evening is their Starfinder game. Let's type formation up. Let's stab one of these people. Ooh, poisoned out on the field because he stabbed that guy apparently. Ooh, that's nice. Let's make him bleed a little. Let's armor up a little, and let's armor up that guy a little bit. No mercy because always. And everybody's still got stamina. Deal 6 points of damage to the rank. Sure, why not? Next turn, even though I've got stamina remaining. Woohoo! But yeah, Starfinder, for those of you who don't know, is a tabletop role-playing game. A tabletop role-playing game is essentially Dungeons and Dragons. So if you've ever played or heard of that, then that's a tabletop role-playing game. Dungeons and Dragons is set in fantasy, pseudo-medieval, or historical, certainly in the past with all kinds of fantastical creatures. Starfinder is more your science fantasy role-playing game set in the distant future, but as I say, it's science fantasy, so there's dragons, there's wonderful mystical creatures, unicorns with grenade launchers. I am the Slayer of Sparklemane. Unicorns with grenade launchers are bullshit. So yeah, that's Starfinder. It's a lot more crunchy than 5th edition D&D. It's more based around what was Pathfinder. And Pathfinder is what was based around D&D 3rd edition. When it came to... This really isn't a good game to try to figure out what I'm doing while I'm talking, because it requires so much paying attention to whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay, he's going to take 2 points of damage, so that'll take him down to 14. If I do 10 points of damage, and that's not going to be enough, I'd like to get rid of this guy this round. So let's do that to him. Why did that not do more to him? Did he just get armor from somewhere? I do not know. I was not paying enough attention. I'm really disappointed that I've totally screwed up this miasma. Yeah, let's do the second one. Let's see what happens. And we got a strike. Okay, let's strike this guy. Whee! And let's rush this guy a few times. And he's gone up to 4 poison stacks. Oh, okay. So yeah, that'll kill him in a couple of rounds. I'm gonna start concentrating on everybody else now. And so yeah, back in the day, back in 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons, it was very crunchy. It was very long-winded and difficult to get into from a new player perspective. Eventually Wizards of the Coast figured we're going to come out with a more simplified system, so they came out with D&D 4th edition. I've never played 4th edition. I've never really played 3rd edition apart from in computer role-playing games, which don't quite have the same feel because a lot of things are automated. But when they moved from 3rd to 4th, a lot of people who didn't like the simplifications of 4th wanted to stick around with the complex system that was D&D 3rd edition. Paizo, a publishing company that used to publish the Dragon magazine, which was for Dungeons and Dragons, decided what they were going to do is continue writing stories inside, based around the Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. And they eventually went on to, or they called their setting Pathfinder, and they've since gone on to make that more of its own unique system rather than just being blatantly it's D&D's 3rd edition with bells and whistles. Then Paizo took Pathfinder, ran with it for a good number of years, eventually figured to come out with the 2nd edition and also Starfinder. Starfinder is kind of as crunchy as Pathfinder is, but not quite as crunchy, but it's certainly a lot more crunchier than D&D 5th edition. I'm going to go back to playing the game for a bit because I'm pretty sure you're all bored of me just moving my mouse around the screen and talking at you. What am I doing? You're injured a lot. Can I make this guy bleed anymore? Yes, I can make him bleed some more. So I do that. And then I apply this, which is going to do a lot of damage to him. Why is it applying it to me instead? This is a terrible idea. I should really... Oh, retaliate. He's got retaliate 3 on him. That is a terrible, terrible thing. I can no longer boost him up, and they're all going to target him. I should have been paying more attention to what was going on. Now instead, everybody's just going to die. Here, have some momentum. So yeah, Starfinder is only like 2-3 years old now. So it's still pretty much in its infancy as far as systems go, especially when you compare it to the likes of Dungeons and Dragons, which has been going on for the best part of 40 years now. So it's not quite as popular. I do really enjoy it because I'm more of a sci-fi nerd than I am a fantasy nerd. I enjoy both, but when it comes to running a game of Starfinder, it's a lot easier for me to ad-lib and bounce off what's happening at the table and players saying, I would like to do something like this, and it's like, yeah, I can see exactly how you're doing it. When it comes to fantasy, it's like, I can't quite figure this out, so we'll just blame it on magic. And there's only so many times you can blame it on magic before you start getting bored of blaming it on magic. I can tell you that much. Okay, let's see what this exquisite sword does. I really want to get rid of this guy because he killed my mouse. Don't really need to do that. Can I do that? Yes, I could do that. Even that's overkill. Okay, let's do that to that guy and get the charge bonus on top of that. And then stab this guy a couple of times. And who wants to guard? This guy wants to guard. He's going to do 5 points damage to nobody because it's the back rank's turn. I wasn't sure whether to call it a rank or a lane then. If you couldn't tell. Okay, this is where this guy's power really comes into effect because now I can do this and get some more cards. Ooh, what was that? How much stamina did that cost? Oh, it cost 1 stamina and 1 will. There's no point in doing the type form. Oh, actually, can I move him? Do I want to move him? Yeah, I think I want to move him back into this rank. And then this guy can do the type formation. Then this guy can armor up. Let's just spend a round armoring up and lightly stabbing the guy. So, yeah, where was I? So yeah, I'm more of a fan of Starfinder, but it's still pretty much in its infancy as far as systems go. But Half-Singer Games does run a stream in about another hour and 10 minutes. So my general conception, my general concept is to play games for a couple of hours, stream it, talk through it, and then go off and raid Half-Singer Games off the back of this. And then I will then close down the stream and start watching Half-Singer Games myself. With only a short break between things. There's no point in applying that. So let's just really stab this guy again. He died. Ooh, I got equipment this time, but unfortunately Oakmont died. Okay, the equipment is armor. It actually changes their graphics, which is nice, I find. I also don't know what anybody's wearing. He's just wearing medium armor. Now, the question is... See, medium armor gains you 14 armor. But the light armor gives you another stamina per turn, but the superior heavy armor, you lose 2 stamina, but you start off with 38 armor. That would be really useful if I had somebody who was just very heavy into building up stamina. Which is quite possible. You know, I've had a character with, 10 points of stamina. So losing 2 for that amount of armor is really not that big of a deal. The 6 points of armor is really not much. The extra stamina was nice, but I think I'm just going to go with the medium armors, especially since this is going to start getting more difficult and more Florians. And let's take a look at some of these cards. And double team, gain, same race, they're not. Deal weapon damage if dual wielding, attack twice more, nobody's dual wielding. Deal 4 damage to opponent party. See, that wildfire is a bit of a hit and miss, because if there's only one guy there, then it's 4 points of damage. If there's 6 guys over there, that's 24 points of damage. But I'm not favouring my chances of it firing off correctly, so I'm just actually going to give it a pass. Somebody leveled up Dreslin. Fendril Dreslin the Hammer. Still not quite sure what that all means. I'm going to put it into stamina, because he's now missing a stamina. And this is what I meant by getting down here. They're just apparently known as passives. Cold-blooded, whenever this character ruins a card, they gain 5 charge. Heathen, whenever this character ruins a card, they spawn a rend. Rend does things. And strategists, whenever this character forcibly moves an enemy, they get overwhelmed on the target. None of these are really paying into a strategy that I'm thinking works for me right now. I don't know why I would want to forfeit it. Seems like a terrible idea. Let's see what happens, because this game is probably not going to go too well anyway. Okay. Let's see if I go back and click on this guy. It's just locked. Well, that's a bit rude. You'd think I'd get some bonus out of it. Heals the party to 100%. Sanderson's not really damaged, and Dreslin's got more health than most people anyway. Excellent, levels up a character, but only 1. Wealth gets me 1,000 Florians. This is what I get for passing this first checkpoint. I think I'm gonna go with the excellence, and I'm gonna apply to Florian. Not Florian, Dreslin. And that gets me another card, so it alternates between cards and passives. That basically clears me up, deals 5 damage for each unique status on the opponent. Pick a card. I'm going to go with the attrition, and I'm going to take some more stamina. I'm not sure if the leveling up also increases his hit points. I would assume it does.
Combat and go for the middle, why not? Much human does, apparently, is what that translated to. I really need to figure out whether this thing can be trained to understand, because, see, there's another streamer called Pleasantly Twisted, and she has closed captions on her stream, and they seem to do a bit better, more than what they're doing for me. But at the same token, I don't know whether that's because it's programmed to listen for the American accent rather than the British accent. Because I really would like closed captions. It's just one of them things where it's all like, I'm trying to build an inclusive community and environment here. And especially since though I don't have a camera for anybody to be able to lip read, and I know that I don't have always the clearest of speech patterns, having the closed captions in there is great because it's all, yep, you can understand me even though you can't read my lips, or I might mumble sometimes. But at the same token, if it doesn't start behaving and making sense, there's going to be no point in having the closed captions because you're just not going to actually get an honest picture of what I'm saying. And I assume that blind people, or not blind people, closed captions do nothing for the blind, Paul. Deaf people kind of get a little bit bored of playing the rhyming game. Of, oh, does that rhyme with, what does that rhyme with? And that might help me make sense of what he was trying to actually say. 6 points of damage or 9 points of damage. I'm gonna go for the 9 points of damage. Yeah, he's got the discard, no mercy for the rush. And stab this guy a lot. Got a bit of poison going around, although I think one of the things that I'm possibly going to struggle with when it comes to playing for 2 hours is how much talking am I doing, and how long is that going to go on for? Okay, what have we got? So if we cast this on this guy, which gives me 2 extra cards, which means that this guy bleeds and I can apply bleeding to him, which is nice, and then I can deal damage to him for each individual stack, which is now 3. I'm going to formation up, and then I've got 1 point of things left to do, and I'm going to stab somebody. Somebody's gonna get stabbed. Gonna stab you because I accidentally misclicked. Yes, tactics at its finest. I accidentally misclicked, so you're the one getting stabbed. I think if this was more of an action-orientated game, I wouldn't feel too bad about letting there be a little more dead air in there. Because then at the end of the day, it's like, well, there's a bit of dead air, but you can get over it because, just pay attention to the action. I know I certainly don't mind if a streamer is paying more attention to what they're doing occasionally than what's going on stream. Bloodlust. If the target dies from 3 points of damage, he is not going to die, but he is going to take the 3 points of damage, and he's going to get the firm footing. So I'm probably not going to take play too many action-orientated games, quite simply because it's not something that I excessively enjoy. And I do note that a lot of people who play those kind of games tend to be very loud, very excitable, and they struggle to pay attention to the chat a lot of the time, whereas I'd prefer a little bit more of a... So you're going to stab this guy. I would like to prevent that from happening. I'm probably not going to prevent it from happening entirely. But at the same token, I can do a little bit something about it. I did actually manage to get him all the way down. I am almost impressed with myself. He's got 8 million charge on him. And he's going to hurt. Let's armor up a little there. That's not going to do anything for us, so let's stab this guy. Let's apply that to him because it's not going to do anything. We're actually going to move you down, and then we're going to armor up a little myself. Way! He's going to attack nothing, he's going to take some poison, he's going to take some bleeding. And hopefully we can do 10 points of damage. We can do 10 points of damage. There's 12. Pass the turn, and he dies from the poison. Every time you move, gain 5 momentum. Every time your opponent move... Every time you move an opponent, deal 5 damage. I'm gonna take more sharpened steel. It's really paying off this time. And when something's working, you just gotta work with it. Over encumbered, modify the deck, decoy, and quick thinking. I'm gonna use quick thinking to level up Sanderson. Some guards approach, you need to act quickly. Who do you counsel? With their advice, you narrowly avoid an open combat. They seem proud of their achievement, acknowledging their quick wit. They level up! Way! Let's see if we can get... See, I could go for more sadist cunning, but I'm not a massive fan of that card, if I'm entirely honest. Deal 5 damage for each unique status. It's kind of like that card, but it's actually just going to... What are you? You've got 2. Yeah, let's take that one. Then I can either have more cards or I can do damage depending on whether I've got any will left or not. I have just poisoned myself. Nope. Why are we still stuck on... Oh, I need to choose, do I want stamina or do I want... Well, I want stamina. I pressed escape to get back, but then it was like, you're not allowed off the screen. It's very insistent that you do level up people, which is kind of good in a way, so you don't miss something, but at the same token, it's not very clear all the time what you need to be doing. Discard a random card, discard all visible combats, or stand or perish. I'm going to discard all visible combats. That didn't do for me. That didn't get rid of that guy, which I was kind of hoping for. But seeing as though there's more combat over here, we'll be taking the right path. 3 hairs. And this is one of the reasons why I like all the bleed. Let's make them bleed. And you can make him rupture. That's actually going to kill him. He's going to bleed next round. Attack 3 times and then gain 5. And who's going to get stabbed the most? You're going to get stabbed. Oh wait, no, it's not a stabby thing, it's momentum. You're poisoned too, you're now poisoned too. So, hopefully this is going to... I've burnt through my armor. One of the things is you get very few opportunities to heal up in this, I've found. So preserving what HP you've got is crucially important, but at the same token, there is so many. There's only so many abilities I've got in this run that is going to increase my armor. So it's turning out to be very difficult to tank this. I would like to do that. So I do that to that guy, and then I stab both of them because I can. And let's do some No Mercy because it's a freebie. We've got 3 points. He's gonna get stabbed. He's gonna get stabbed. There's nothing I can do for that guy. There's only a little I can do for this guy, but he's got 3 stamina, so let's brawl. Let's get that up and then armor up. And it's not going to kill either of them this turn. The bottom one is going to be dead next turn. What was I looking at? I was looking at the time because I do not want to miss the start of on-screen. I should get an on-screen notification to say that she started streaming. Deal 5 damage. Okay, let's start by taking cover. Let's then stab this guy because he's going to be a lot more of a pain in the arse. He's gonna die. He is not gonna die, I don't think. I might be able to make him die. I've made him die. And I can also now rush one of these. I could rush again, but let's just watch him poison out. Blep. Blep. More florins, gain a card, draw 1 card, gain preparation. That could be useful for when I've got the poison doing rearguard. Deal 6 damage if a character is in back rank, apply 6 armor to front rank. That would be nice if I could actually get more in the way of characters and defense. I'm slightly concerned that Draislin's not looking too good. Guarded transport, a chance to something. You scurry into an unseen alleyway as a company of heavily armed guards turns a corner ahead. They're transporting a cart with a heavy chest. It must be valuable to warrant this kind of escort. Fight elite combat while Draislin's very injured, or our lives aren't worth some coin, we'll have to make do without. Let's make do without. Meant to stand up parish and discard a random card. Let's modify the deck again. Now seems like a good time to take a short rest, perhaps an opportunity to learn something new. Duplicate a card. Stay with what's good. Let's duplicate another Starpin Shield to make 5 of them. Ambushed. We have been ambushed. I have a choice of ambush, ambush, or ambush. I'm going to go with ambush. These guys are starting to look more and more armored every time I see them. Let's apply that to that guy. We got 8 on that guy, 12 on that guy, 8, 12, 20 on you. So let's do that. Let's also do that, and then let's stab the guy in the front. No, let's try and whittle down the numbers a little. Second win, draw a card and gain that. Sure, why not? And if I'd only have done it on the other... Oh, no. Yep, because it's his card, I can't do it because he's out of stamina. He's only going to draw me more cards that I probably wouldn't have been able to use, but because of his poison ability, I would... Oh no, it plays a card. so let's just deal with the poisons and the bleeding, and let's see what happens. Some damage to him. Some damage to him. More damage to him. Okay, let's see if I can't. So 8, 8, and 8 against that guy. Let's move him around by withdrawing. Yeah, you withdraw to there, and then they're all going to miss, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Let's sharpen steel against that guy. He's in a bad way. Let's brawl this entire rank. Let's guard, and let's draw some more cards. Solid footing, good choice. Let's armor up even more. And thanks to the fact that lots of cards are being played out, their poisons are stacking up nicely. Now just waiting for everything to finish evading. See, now they're split into 2 rows, which has certain benefits and certain disadvantages. It's just 12 from that guy, and he gains 5 defense. I don't really want him gaining 5 defense, so if I can do 7 points of damage to him, that would do it. Yeah, he's now going to die, and do no points of damage. So let's guard up a little, because you are a little low on that. Let's do that because that's just really good for getting lots of people. Your weapon isn't quite as good, but it still applies the bleed. Momentum discard and use the rush is probably better than 5 points of damage that I would have been able to do. And let's just stab you up a little bit. Attrition is deal 5 for every effect, arterial strike. Oh, so many options. Let's stab this guy a lot with the sharpened steel. That's 12 damage, and he's now bleed 12. He's probably going to die on his own. 12 multiplied by 13 is 156 halved. 75 and 3 is 78. Yeah, he'll die of his own volition in a few rounds. Probably sooner rather than later, but it does mean that I should probably focus on the other guy a little, but it'd be a waste if I didn't use that while he's got 12 bleed on him. That is so much pain for him. And he's actually going to die right now. So for this, I'm just going to stab, 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 stab the hair. Because now he just goes blip. Because of all the bleeding and the poison on him. And the bunny strikes the fox wolf guy. Yeah, let's stab him a bunch of times. Let's no mercy. Let's vanguard and let's rush. And ta-da, wasn't too bad after all. Select a target in for position, move them into it. Reserves, arterial rupture. That's actually doing fairly well because of all the steel bleed effects that I've got going on. Buy cards, discard all visible combats, or elite combat. I'm going to go to the juggler and see what he has to say. Do I want another quick hands? I don't want anything from that. I'm just not feeling the juggler. And at the end of the day, I'm hoping... Let's go for the over-encumbered. Let's see what happens. A You approach a towering column of fire, a pyre burning in the late king. Upon the many stacks of wood sits an effigy of the old wolf. We're giving him a proper ceremony. A small mouse whispers to you from below. It's not right what the prince did. King Esmir was ashamed, and would have been doubly shameful for this festival cover-up. He was a stickler for tradition. You should offer something to his memory. Discard 2 skill cards, forfeit a talent card. The Black Church burnt under his reign, even if not by his hand. Ruin a card and leave. What do I have? See, there's not many skill cards that I really want to get rid of. And there's certainly no talent cards that I want to get rid of. I mean, I could get rid of that no, it's two skill cards. So I was going to say I could get rid of that no mercy. It's not really doing excessive amounts for me. I'm actually going to ruin the no mercy, and let's see what happens to it. Crossroads, combat crossroads. Great, I've made it to the crossroads. There is a ruined card in here. Ruin, deal 5 damage, take 1 damage. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the ruined cards. It still functions, and basically I've turned it into do 6 points of damage to a random creature, to a deal 5 points of damage, but I also take a point of damage, so it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. Right, I'm just going to clear off that so that it all becomes 9s, and then now I've got a bunch of combat that I've got again to. I really want to get Dreslin healed up before too long, or else these guys are not going to last. Dangerous thugs. Right, so I can make this guy... let's make this guy bleed twice with a sharpened steel. And then let's get some arterial blood going. So he's going to die this round. That card is his, so draw a card, get a second wind, and let's beat everybody up. So that was kind of a little bit pointless putting all the bleed and poison on that guy, but at the end of the day, he's gone and people have survived. Nobody's actually run out of armor. Bloodlust of card dies, draw for 3. Okay, so they're both going to go after this guy, so really I want to stack everything in his favor. So if I don't do that, if I do this, if I do that, because it's just 3 points of damage, and then I give him the solid footing, this guy can do this, so that they both get an 8, and then just pound into one of the guys. Wow, you just completely ignored the fact that I said pound into one of those guys. Did your subtitles? Yeah. Thought you heard me. What am I doing? My mind is going, and it's only an hour 28 into the stream. I've still got another 40 or so minutes before Anne starts up her stream. Because it's Starfinder, it's not just Anne. I just say Anne's stream because it's Anne's channel. But it's actually the Starfound crew, and there is Miles Duffy, who's the GM, Anne Richmond? I think her name's Anne Richmond, Half-Singer Games, who plays Amaruk, the Magic Llama Mood, who just has one of the greatest names I've ever come across, who plays Kia, Dexter, who plays Jabby, and Parker. I always forget Parker's name, who plays... Parker plays an android. The android is a bit of a technomancer. He's a bit of an engineer and a operative. I used to think that he was a technomancer because his name is Caster. Caster 9, at your service. Don't let him hear me say that. That's his tagline, not mine. Alright, so who's going to get stabbed? They're both going to stab this guy. This is not good because he does not have much in the way of armor, and they're both going to do 8 points of damage to him. That's useless. Let's draw some more cards and see what happens. That didn't really help much either, so let's stab this guy up a lot. Let's stab him up a little more. Let's give some momentum. There's no bleed out, so might as well get rid of that one and stab him a little more. And it was enough to kill him off. Did severely weaken him, but he's still going to... Dreslin is still going to get into shield damage, especially seeing as though I forgot they had charge by Dreslin. Such a bleeding shame. So, it's down to just Sanderson. Chances are this is going to go very wrong very quickly now that there's a lot, once you get down to one person, unless it has been favorable to you and it happens just as the last fight is occurring of a last round of combat, it's not gonna look good. See, there's only so much armor I can get. That will help take him down a lot. He will now die, so end the turn. But yeah, down to one person, and cards aren't explicitly very good for him. None of them are favourable for me, so I'm not going to bother picking it up. One of the tactics of not picking up cards is just the fact that when you've got 30 cards in your deck and you're drawing 5 a round, it's 6 rounds until you see all of the cards. If you keep that at a much lower number, like 20 cards, it's 4 rounds. And if you've got a really powerful card in there, it's only, you play it out in one turn and you know that within 4 rounds you're going to be able to play it out again and in another 4 rounds. Right, is it worthwhile getting the EXP, all the weapons and armor? Well, I like his weapons and I like his armor, so I'm going to go for the intelligence because that will actually level him up. And let's see what passive I get this time. At the start of the turn, if this creature has no allies, they gain 50... Ooh, that's interesting to say that he's now on his own. That I'm trying to figure out how that is useful. Basically, at the start of their turn, any stacks of bleeding they have on the character is converted to vitality and removed. Oh, no, it's not that one. There's another one. Very similar worded, but basically it turns bleeding into poison. Now, bleeding is okay because it goes down. Poison is bad because it goes up. So why would you want to turn the bleeding into poison? There must be a tactical reason, a card that I've not seen or a card I've not figured out the use for yet. But at the same token, I think I'm probably going to have to go with this one. At the start of their turn, if the character has no allies, they gain 30 armor and 5 charge and 3 stamina. So that's going to really make a big difference, seeing as though he's the last one standing. He's now going to be up to a 7 stamina, so I'm going to drop that into the will. Quick round, thief, buy cards. Let's get a quick round, let's heal him up. Let's take a look at the brawlers. There's nothing much there, especially seeing as though he's now on a solo run. So we're just going to skip past that. Sanctuary, a chance to heal, he's already fully healed. And chances are that's a path 6, so even if I just take that off the top, it's just going to end with it being another combat below that. Right, so let's see, we've got 12, we've got lots of damage coming in. That's not quite as effective as I would like, and we're just going to stab this guy a few times. Give him a little bit of lust because it applies the poison effect on one people out here, and we end the turn. So this is going to sting a little bit. But now what should happen, it should kick in and give him 30 armor, and 5 momentum, and a bunch of stamina, which is great. So I'll apply the guards and the type formation. The Vanguard, nobody's bleeding, so let us deal the Vanguard to that guy, and the Strike to that guy. Let's try and take one of these guys out. He's got 43 armor, only 12 more is going to happen. Nobody's bleeding, that's useless. Let's move on. See, now he's up to 60 armor. This potentially, this lone wolf is potentially a bit of a game changer right here. So he's got 5. I don't really want to lose this heavy armor advantage, so I'm probably going to keep that up. Let's quick hands here. Let's get some more options out. Let's sharpen the steel, stab that guy up a little bit. Let's, what am I at? I'm at 3. So if I did that, and I did that, so I can do that to that guy. I can do this and get rid of the guard. And then I can sure footing, which just really stacks up my armor. And it plays a lot more cards, which is got a lot more poison out there. That guy's dead next time around, and he's not looking so good either. And they're only doing, they're doing a lot of damage to me because of all these bloody vulnerabilities on me. But at the same token, it's not the end of the world. Right, do I want more options? Sure, let's not take more options actually. Puppy power! Right, let's make this guy bleed a lot. I got 3. I can do that for 2, and I've got another 1. I'm not going to take much damage this round. So I will... Let's do that. Why not? Let's see what happens. Terrible things. So he's going to die. There's nothing else that I can play out despite all those cards. But no damage happens to me this round. I got another 30 and I got 5 more momentum, and to a certain degree I managed to get that vulnerability down a bit. Like, stab this guy, stab the guy again, and I do believe that is the round. Because there's plenty of poison out on there. Reckless aid, no point. Ranks, no point. All runes and deal kit 5. Nope, none of them are going to be useful to me right now. Courage, a chance to improve. I think I'm going to go for that one because I think I mentioned this earlier where I knew what it was going to do. Some enders are hot on your trail. You turn a corner to find a seemingly dead end. Sanderson yells over here, a hatch. Bah, the cursed thing is sealed. I don't know who Sanderson is talking to anymore. I think he might have gone a screw loose because he's just talking to himself. And now I get to force it open and gain a maximum stamina, but lose 10 hit points. Sanderson exhaustively bludgeons a lock with their weapon until it finally thunders open. Quick, get in! As Sanderson begins to heave the doors shut, a deft arrow finds its mark in their shoulder. You disappear into the shadows. So he takes 10 points of damage, but he gets an extra stamina, and that's as much as I figured that was going to be great for that one. I'm not going to actually get another ally. As much as I have for Florians to do so, Sanderson going lone wolf is really helping out. So I'm going to heal up instead. I knew that I was coming up, hence why I took the courage card for that additional point of stamina. I'm just going to do a little thing where I'm going to move this guy. It just bothers me that he isn't in the middle. It makes absolutely no mechanical effect. But now we're going to enter the gatehouse for the second round of Blister. It's an ambush. What a surprise. This is going to be rough. It's going to be 6 people versus 1, and they're going to do a fair amount of damage in the first round of combat. But what I can tell you it's going to do, it's going to try and stab him while he's there, so I'm actually going to move him out of the way. I'll do that when he's got 2, so let's momentum him up and discard the rune card, mainly just to get some poisons out there, if nothing else. Stab that guy for 8 points of damage and gain solid footing. That puts me a good 34 armor. No damage is going to happen to me, and my lone wolf is going to bump me up by another 30 before anybody even takes a swing at me. One of the worrying things about the bears is that they're already gaining momentum. Right, so I have 8 points of stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do everything currently in my hand. So that's another 15 points of armor. I can make somebody bleed. I'm going to make Blister bleed. Because Blister is going to be a problem for me in the end. Let's do some damage. That's doing nothing because he is Juggernaut, and if it's anything less than 5, it does nothing to him. Or if it's just 5, it does nothing to him. I should have focused on everybody else. I didn't. I played out lots of cards. Poison is going to happen at least, which is a bit of a boon. Because I think partly some of this game is just going to be about making sure that I've got more armor than they can do damage. Right, so let's gain some more armor. Let's get some quick hands. Let's draw another card. Let's stab this guy a bunch of times with fairly high damage. Let's make this guy bleed some more. Let's bloodlust this guy. And draw a card for each opponent's status effect. This guy, you got 3. And I just wasted 2 sharpened steels. Probably didn't want to do that. They're only going to be doing a bit of damage to me, so it's not the end of the world. It's interesting to see that Blister has yet to get a poison on him. when so much has gotten about, but hopefully going forward it will continue to happen for me. Okay, I'm gonna make this guy bleed a little bit more because I just like bleeding. I'm gonna stab this guy a few times for a bit more armor. What have I got left? I got 4 left. Is it worthwhile doing that, or should I just armor up? What am I looking at? 18. I'm gonna wild brawl this lane. It actually gives me the strike of the attrition as well. What is this? 5 or less, so there's no point in doing the attrition on him without momentum. So let's stab up this. No, let's stab this guy with that. Let's get some more armor up. And I ran out of stamina for the attrition. I thought I had more, but apparently not. Oh yeah, that was something else I was going to talk to you about this. There's a few roguelikes out there that are in similar vein. You've got Slave Tower, and there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm just going to take a quick look at my Steam list, because it's another one that I actually recommend. Monster Train. Slave Tower is all fine and well, but it's one of them where you've got to make sure that you're paying attention to everything going on, or else it is just going to be rough. I had a housemate, he played it to death and got really good at it, which was bully for him. The thing is, for me, I just could not get into it that deeply, and a lot of the time I ended up just futzing around, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But because I was just futzying around, I didn't really do so well at making the correct decisions all the time, probably because I wasn't paying attention too much. But in doing so, it meant that it was a very difficult game for me, just to be able to really achieve at it. So yes, graphically it was nice, yes it was interesting. Most of these styles of games have a bit of interest to me, but it wasn't something that I could play casually. Monster Train is again one of those where it's a very similar game, but it's not as punishing. I felt like I could achieve more in that. Sanderson is bleeding, which is bypassing his armor, and I have nothing to stop that bleeding, so I've got to finish this in 4 rounds, and there's still nobody dead. I think Sanderson is just about done with this life, I'm afraid to say, and with an extra 40 or so minutes to go, that's probably going to not do too well for me. Right, let's continue punching these guys. Momentum wants to be the last thing that I do, realistically. Do I really want to draw 3 more cards? Sure, why not? Let's see what happens when I draw 3 more cards. I can make somebody bleed some more. I can make them bleed even more than that. At 22, he should be dead in a few rounds. I think he'll actually die before I do. Momentum can be cast for nothing. And I really want to try and stack that with all the things that I got going. I got enough armor for now. That guy's gonna die, so let's start whittling down a little on the back row. I got 1 stamina, so that is the best that I can do. Then I can momentum and discard something. Doesn't really matter what. That just gets more poison out there, and it gives me 3 charge for the next round. The poison applies on the back row. The back row deal. No, the back row are just armoring up, which is not good for the fact that I need to do so much damage in so few turns, or else Sanderson is gonna die. And I should not cover my mouth because I appreciate that probably makes the audio sound horrible. I'm going to continue making this guy bleed a lot, hopefully in a vain attempt to, and I should have used rush before I did that on the guys in the back because I had +8 to that attack, and now the rush is going to do 3 points of damage. That guy should die this round. He's going to bleed a little bit this round. They're all armors. Damage, sure, why not? And let's spend the last 3 in getting some armor up. And go. So you bleed, you take poison, you die, he charges, doesn't get through the armor naturally, and I get some more bleeding damage. So let's have a look at what is actually going on. If I was to do this and then discard that, that would give me that, and then I can do this, which would do a fair amount of damage to this guy. And then let's make one of the guys at the back bleed. What have I got left? I got 5, so I'm going to guard. I'm going to strike one of these guys in the back, and then I'm going to guard up again. And let's see what happens. 8, so that will take me down to 16. 7 off 16 will take me down to 9. 9 goes down to 6, which will leave me with 3. I got about 3, maybe 4 rounds left before I just die. I got 220 armor, so I'm not too fussed on that. It's this bleed that is going to kill me, and that's so annoying because I've built up this character who, yeah, he's gone lone wolf, and he's got plenty of armor to deal with everything, but he just will bleed out before I manage to win. Probably. Right, he's going to die this round, I think. On the end of your turn, yeah. So he's 25 at 8, and he's only got 29. 16 and 3 is 19, so he needs 5 points of damage to die. So I'm going to sharpen steel against this guy at the top. Going to attack him 3 times as well. He's going to die, so let's vanguard this guy. Let's armor up. Let's see if I can actually turn this one around. Because one of the things that I realize now is if I do manage to scrape through this by the skin and by bleeding teeth, I will be able to get healed. And I have 2 rounds to do this in. So let's make this guy bleed. Let's give him some arterial bleeding. Let's strike him down. He's getting all the poisons from using all of these cards, so might as well even use the rush. It did 3 points of damage because it's all stacking on top of that bleed. Yeah, he's got 11 hit points left. He's gonna die. If he came back around to me, then I would die, but it's not going to get that far because he can't get through all of my armor. I am going to scrape by the skin of my bleeding teeth. Stab him a little bit, and he dies. Oh my word. I actually got an achievement for that. Yeah, when combat with a combined vitality of 3 or less. So that's a thing. None of them say get rid of bleed, which was the thing that nearly crippled me. Steadfast, at the start of their turn, character gains 8.
At the start of their turn, character gains but may not exceed 15 stacks of each. I am going to put him in that, because that is going to heal him up. I don't want any of the cards, so just going to move along. He's also leveled up. Woohoo! Let's go, Sanderson. It's a reasonably good chance that I might actually make it to the end. There's also a reasonably good chance that I've got 15 minutes left. This is the only run through I've got done of this. So let's see. Whenever you draw an additional card, that is really useful for me right now. And I'm gonna put it in stamina. There was a couple of times where I nearly ran out of stamina. Well, level up a character or heal the party. I'm gonna have to go with the heal the party. I would have loved a level up, but I just don't feel that was going to happen for me. Let's enter into this combat in the middle. Ba-ping, ping. Oh god, these guys make me bleed. That is not going to be fair. Whenever you draw additional cards, great stuff. Let's make them bleed. How did it? Let's see if they like it. Not it. They're going to do tactical things, so let's just get some armor going. Restores hit points. See, with a bit of luck, I should be going up in hit points faster than they'll be able to poison me, perhaps? Got a 5 there. I don't have anything that is actually drawing cards. That's a little bit concerning right now, seeing as though half this character is built based around drawing cards and doing lots of damage because of drawing cards. Oh, I can actually do a second wind. Let's get into that guy's hit points, and I'll actually use this because I might as well take that 1 point of damage. Because that's going to restore me up. Not entirely sure what that's doing. Oh yeah, they're going to also try and poison me when they get around to stabbing me, which is round about right now, which is 4 points of, but that's got to get through the armor first, and the armor is also starting to stack up already. Not quite as high in the stacking as I would have liked. These both have retaliation, so I'm going to avoid them this combat round. But at the same token, I've just realized, oh no, it's this that gives me the 30. That's a lot of damage. I mean, it's slowly going up. Unique status effect, discard to gain momentum. Draw a card for each effect on a person. Well, you've got 4 effects on you, so give me 4 cards, which gets 4 more poison out there. I've got 8, so if I was to make you bleed some more, because I just like making you bleed. I'm gonna bloodlust you. Am I? I got 4 left. No, I'm not going to bloodlust you. I'm going to get rid of the bloodlust. I'm going to stab you with the rush. I'm going to round shield myself and then take cover myself. Then I'm going to deal that. And then I'm going to stack some more armor. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get the armor going up higher than the poison, as well as the armor up and the healing. It's going to be a while before that poison is actually successful enough to do much against me. I am slightly concerned that they just defended this round. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to armor up. I'm not going to stab them, because that would just be painful. And that's what I like to see. Somebody just popping off because I didn't do anything to them. He no longer has retaliate. He just did poison me, but only for a tiny little amount. And let's stab that guy. Let's make him bleed. Because that's going to be a lot of damage to him. And that's the round, my good friends. See, I like where this is going now. If dual wielding, I'm not dual wielding. Apply focus fire. Whenever an opponent is attacked, apply overwhelm and banish this card. That could be useful if I come up against another heavy hitter. Got 10 minutes for the rest of this. You might have to tune in next time to see the epic conclusion of what? Of the one-man Sanderson army. That's what I'm thinking. Quick thinking, provisions, or remove. I'm going to level them up. Some guards approach, you need to act quickly, but who do you counsel? I'm going to counsel the one guy who's here. With their advice, you narrowly avoid open combat. They seem proud of their achievement, acknowledging their quick wit. So I get another passive. Whenever this player gains a card costing will, they gain 10 vitality. Whenever this character gains armor, they gain an additional 5. Whenever this character kills an enemy with an attack, their maximum vitality is increased by 3. Ooh, maximum vitality goes up. Oh, could really make him into a tanky tank. But this is also useful because basically every single round it's just going to go up by an additional 10. I'm going to go with this because, you know, long term. I'm still going to go with more stamina. I probably should start thinking about going for more will. Discarded random combat, off-duty guards, or blocked. I'm going to go with the off-duty guards. I'll get rid of them and that. More off-duty guards. Woo! And what have we got? We got a combat at the end of this. That's not too bad. I'm actually fairly confident in the combat right now with Sanderson. Probably just going to be this final combat. Let's take some cover and see. I've just played out 2 cards for 10 and for 5, and he's already got 25 armor. He's going to gain 2 at the end of a turn, and at the start of the next turn he's going to gain 30. I am slightly concerned that they're doing 20 damage each. So I'm still going to make one of them bleed, and then I'm going to rupture him. Because why the smeg not when they're doing that much damage to me? See, they're going to do 60 points of damage. That's going to eat 15 into his HP, but at the same token, hopefully over the next few rounds, because of the fact that I'm getting a lot of armor and this a little bit of healing in there, hopefully I should fully heal up before too long. Draw a card for each effect. I don't have my miasma up yet, so I'm just going to... What's the symbol? Zone of control. What? Whenever an opponent moves, gain 2 charge. Yeah, I'm never moving. So get over yourself. Let's strike everybody on this line. Sure footing is going to be a thing that I'm going to want to do. But let's actually draw some more cards. Yeah, I want to do that sure footing. But I really want to make this guy bleed. Because if I can take one of them out, I really think it's going to help me. applies free bleeding. I'll be able to counter that with the fact that I should have done the bloodlust before doing that. Yeah, this is going to sting a little, but I think at the end of the day, it is going to balance out. Because yes, he's bleeding, but he's also getting the restoration that is clicking up each turn. He might lose a couple of hit points this combat, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to focus fire on this guy, because that is a thing that I can do. Whenever I attack this guy, so I'll attack him 3 times. And that gets more and more damage through to him, so that when I deal this to him, it did 10. I'm gonna dodge out of the way a little bit, and then I shouldn't have done that because I just gave them all charge 2, but I've now got 91 armor, so not excessively concerned about the fact that they're doing a little more damage, and I've just evaded as well. It didn't get rid of the charge though. What are they going to be doing? They are going to be moving to random positions. Deals 5 for each unique status effect on the guy, and that's interesting. Discard a card, so let's just mess up this guy's day. Because it's going to keep stacking this overwhelm for 6 effects that he's got on him. That's the way that went. What do I have left? I don't really want to take any hit points of damage, so I'm just going to armor up, which is going to help poison them, and then I'll gain the momentum on the Ragged Claw and end my turn. Oh, and then one of them died. Sorry, I was paying attention to my stream, which is just me trying to make sure that there's nobody here chatting. Haha. And finally, what are we doing? Finally got the miasma, but it's kind of pointless now. I've got a lot of charge built up, so I'm going to stab this guy like a lot. I poison whenever I play a card, so let's get some more cards out. Let's see what I can do. I get to stab him a lot. That sounds like a good idea. I will strike at him, and there's no point in playing that, other than the fact that it's going to poison him a little. End turn. It poisons him, and he does some damage to my 100 and 218 armor. Right, I don't want to kill him though, because I want my turn to end to get them 7 hit points back. So if I just make sure he dies, by doing that to him, he's got 18 poison on him. I end my turn, I get restored up to 80. He takes 18 points of poison damage, promptly dies, and Sanderson walks away from the fight without so much as a scratch on his body. Poison tip is not great for this because I'm just doing lots of poison without having to waste a card doing it. I'm just going to leave it again. I'm happy with my deck as it is. Back alley, quick thinking. Oh my word, another quick thinking. Who do we see at the council? We see the Council of Sanderson. I'd read it out, but I've read it out twice already. And boom, Sanderson gains another level and another card. All parties gain that into the fray. Deal weapon damage. If the target has vulnerability, you may discard a card. If so, character's rank. I'm gonna forfeit. None of them are really doing it for me. Oh wow, I am picky apparently. I've just got another achievement. You don't actually see my Steam overlay, which is great. The achievement is forfeit a character's card choice. Ooh. I've just got a notification on Steam, on Twitch. I just want to I'm gonna have to double check what that's about in a bit. I would start another fight, but my friend's stream is going to be starting up soon, so I'm going to leave it here. It is a roguelike. You can just quit and it will take you back to this, and you can continue it on from where you left off. It doesn't usually take me this long to do a single run of Banners of Ruin, but one of the things is because it allows you to pick it up, put it down, pick it up, you can hop in, play a couple of cards, see how it goes, and if you get distracted, you get bored, or you just was only for after a quick 15-minute thing, it'll save your progress. You can only have one run on a go at a time, but once you complete a run, you get some experience. This fills up, and then you've got some unlocks that you can do, and these unlocks do various different things. Unlocks cards, unlocks tokens, like for example the Lone Wolf that is Sanderson's main deal. If I'd not unlocked it, I wouldn't be able to do this. It only seems to have these 18 unlocks for the moment, but as I said at the top of the stream, this is still in early access, so I definitely feel it's got a lot more potential in there. But at the same token, who knows where it's going to go. It's currently my favorite roguelike. I don't play these often enough to be able to say, oh, this one's great, and I keep going back to this one. I tend to pick them up, play them to death for a while, and then leave them to rot and ruin, because they're roguelike is the kind of game that you can play forever. Okay, my friend's Twitch stream has just started, so I'm going to practice my buttons, and hopefully I'll be able to raid them despite the fact that I'm the only person here. This is just me more checking it out. No, it's not. It's /raid. And then Hearth Singer Games. Sure. Did that work? Yay! I got one viewer, which is me, to go raid Hearth Singer Games. The thing is, it's going to notify them that I have a Twitch channel, and I'm actually streaming, so that might get some people's interests, and maybe there'll be somebody to talk to next time. Alright, that's me for this time. I hope anybody who stumbles across this video enjoys it, and good evening.